Hello and welcome to Wednesday Live, this edition of Ask Me Anything related to business immigration. This is Rahmat Sobirov, managing lawyer at Sobirov's law firm. Today I welcome you after my short trip to the United States, and today we will have enough time. We will take as much time as necessary to answer all your questions that we received prior to our live sessions and during our live sessions. Wherever you're joining us from, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please feel free to send us your questions as comments and we will bring it up to the screen. So before we delve into those questions, let me request that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We create great content about business immigration and answer all your questions, shorts, video interviews, and live sessions like this. And it's a bit surprising for us that 80% of those who watch us are not subscribed. Please double check. If you haven't subscribed, please make sure that you are subscribed and we will take it from there. You're always invited to send us your questions and it will be our pleasure to answer those as a comment under this video. Okay, so today's question is mostly about business immigration, and another quick announcement that I want to make is we have revamped our website a little bit. If you go and check the resources section, and all these have been updated a little bit just to give a better feel of what's going on. And on the resources and news and publication and success stories, you can take a look at our latest publications. And also on a personal front, I started to run Canadian Immigration Diary, a newsletter on LinkedIn. So whenever you have questions or you want to stay updated on latest developments in immigration, Canadian Immigration Diary is my personal blog. It's not a legal opinion. We have published already 3 editions and we already have almost 1,700 subscribers. So I invite you to find me on LinkedIn and find Canadian Immigration Diary there and subscribe. So what kind of tips and insights you can get from my newsletter is that I give very small tidbits basically. So what's going on in Canadian immigration overall, and I also give pro tip related to that news piece or development. And also I follow the court cases, federal court cases. These immigration is a federal matter. Usually it's when it goes to court, it goes to the federal court of Canada. And I on a weekly basis I find cases and give you the nutshell, the summary of the case and what that case teaches us as an insight in immigration. For example, here Stefano's case, it was about marriage and so on. Foreign marriages must comply with local law. So it gives you feedback about the case. And I also refer to certain pages on our website where this insight relates to certain immigration program. I just put it there for your convenience. So from that perspective, it's a very short read for those who want to keep themselves updated on immigration. And we, as I said, we already have 1,700 subscribers on LinkedIn alone. I invite you to go and check that out. Okay, let's get back to our questions from the audience that we received in advance. So question number one, and feel free to send us your questions because we will take as much time as necessary today. There's no time limit for these AMA sessions. Today's AMA is about you and your questions. Okay, now question number one that we received prior. We have a compilation of questions that we received in advance, and because for certain reasons people cannot join us live during these live sessions, and they send us their questions. Here's one of those questions. How long do I need to actively run my Canadian branch or business before applying for permanent residency? That's a great question, and it depends on which program you apply for. For example, let's take an example of Provincial PNP for entrepreneurs. If in general, the entrepreneurship programs under PNP, they want you to come on a work permit, run the business or establish the business as you promised in the business performance agreement with that specific province. Let's say it's usually 24 months, okay, 2 years. Within those 2 years, you need to run, establish, and create the jobs that you promised to create. After that, you get nominated by the province to the federal government, saying that yes, this individual, this entrepreneur has provided whatever he promised under the performance agreement. Now we nominate you to permanent residency. At that moment, then you can apply for permanent residency. That's an example of a PNP for entrepreneur. Other programs, for example, the startup visa program, you apply for permanent residency as a first step. You apply for it and it starts processing that permanent residency. In the meantime, because the processing time is taking more than 40 months under startup visa at the moment, you come to Canada with your co-founders of the startup on a work permit, open work permit, and then you have that period of time to run the startup, to push it forward and report it on a regular basis. I would say the answer to this question is it depends which business immigration program you're applying under, or you have applied, and look into that, the requirements. Sometimes it's a performance-based application, like in the PNP entrepreneur program. In other occasions, it's a startup, for example, startup visa program. You apply in advance and you do your genuine efforts to run the startup in Canada. So this question is general, and I would say it depends to the program that you apply for. Okay, yes, welcome to live sessions for those who are joining us today. Now I have another question live, like truly live from the audience. Let me bring that to the screen. If I pronounce your names incorrectly, I apologize in advance, but Oluyide is asking the following questions. I am currently in Ontario with a 3-year work permit. How much capital do I need to start up a business? What type of business is allowed? Well, Oluyide, I think if you are on an open work permit, on what basis have you obtained that open work permit? I would assume 2 bases. One is either your spouse is a foreign worker or international student, or maybe you have applied for startup visa program and you obtained your 3-year open work permit that way. If you could clarify, that would give us more contacts in this scenario. Okay, how much capital do I need to start up a business? In Ontario, according to our practical experience, on the ground experience, it takes at least 200,000 Canadian dollars to operate a business. Though that money is not spent right away, but for incorporation, for finding a place to rent as a business place, and buying furniture or equipment or inventory, I think you will be safe to allocate $200,000 as your business project capital. What type of business are allowed? All businesses other than distributing the material, or any business that you can open under work permit. You can do anything, but there are certain restrictions. Maybe it requires licensing. For example, you cannot open a law firm business. It requires you to have a license. You cannot open immigration consultant business. It requires a license. There are certain licensing requirements. Those requirements restrict you on what kind of program you can, what kind of business you can open. And for example, also transportation related businesses, for example, an airline or any small and medium business in general, you can open under this work permit, or you can get employment anywhere else where you can get a job offer. So you have clarified, I came as a student, studied for 2 years and obtained open work permit. All right, so that's a clarification from Oluyude. Thank you very much for clarification. So you are under post-graduation work permit, not necessarily open work permit. It's not referred to as open work permit, but post-graduation work permit. Yes, you can do any business, depending on the licensing requirement for that business. The best place to go is, I believe, to find it online whether certain business that you want to do is licensed or not. Medical business, healthcare businesses are usually licensed. Working with children is usually licensed, like a daycare and so on, or education. Legal stuff is usually licensed. And any other thing like convenience store, online business, IT consulting or whatnot, it's not licensed, and you can open that in Ontario. Again, opening business for the sake of gaining experience or income, it's okay doing it in Ontario. However, if you are guided by, if you want to get permanent residence in Canada through your business, I would say explore other provinces too. Other provinces, they have graduate entrepreneur programs where you can, let's say, go to Alberta, establish a business there. After a certain time, that may lead to permanent residency. So depends on your goal. Of course, some people open a business for income, some people create a business for immigration, or some people create for both, two goals, business and immigration. So it depends again on the situation. If you want to discuss, you can always go to our website. Let me share it just a moment. Go to our website. You can talk to a lawyer and discuss your opportunities, and we will be happy to discuss. You will be consulting with an experienced immigration lawyer for 1 hour, and it will cost you $150. If you decide to become our clients after, if we find a solution for you, that immigration consultation fee will be deducted from your legal fees. All right. Now let's come back to questions. Thank you very much, by the way, for these questions. Let me take another question that we received in advance. Okay, this relates to startup visa program, and it says, how do I know which designated organizations, incubators, angel groups, or venture capital funds are actually supporting startup visa applicants right now? That's a great question, and it leads me to another announcement that I wanted to make. Let me do that right away. We have created several ebooks for you. Those ebooks, they are separated by designated organization types, so incubators, angel investors, and funds. You can go and see who is supporting who, and we took a curated list and prepared it for you. For example, we access a network of business incubators, this one, and Get Insider vetted venture capital funds who are actively seeking high growth businesses under this fund ebook. Or you can get all these 3 ebooks on a very nominal fee of $19.99 USD, or you can get them separately as indicated here. That's how do you know? by going to and getting this venture capital, angel investor, or incubator directory. It's not the directory that you find online. We curated it, and these are perfect for founders seeking their first funding and mentorship. If you are early in your ideation stage, go get the incubator director. But I suggest instead of getting them separately, you better get them all 3 in one for just $20, and this gives you a lot of information on basically who's those incubators, what they are looking for, what area of business or startup they support, and whether they are actively looking or not. So to answer that, the question is, go to our Startup Visa ebooks and get them. And we work with angel investors and VC firms most of the time, because the designated organizations that we work with are priority processing organizations. As you know, Startup Visa is problematic in the sense that it takes a lot of time for permanent residents to come to fruition. At the moment, let's check together while I'm here, CIC processing time. Let's check it together, because as I said, we take as much time as necessary for our to give you a substantive answer to your question. So economic immigration, Startup Visa, get the processing time here. It's unbelievably long for PR. As you know, Startup Visa is a process where you apply for permanent residence first, and then apply for work permit to come to run your startup. And the permanent residence part is unbearably long. So you want to be in the priority processing. There are certain organizations, designated organizations, either incubators or venture capital firms or angel investors, that are in the priority processing. And on the priority processing, we are seeing that it is taking less than 3 years, less than even 2 years sometimes, like 18 months or so for PR to finalize. All right, I think that was a long answer to your question. Okay, here we go. Mah is asking the question. Salam alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Thank you for your efforts, updates or progress on SUV process time. Does choosing Toronto for the business may delay the processing the application? My work permit got rejected last year. All right. Well, under which program? Do you mean SUV open work permit, Startup Visa program open work permit, or well, your question is like yes and no. Yes, in a sense that in Toronto, if your business is in Toronto, it's hard to impress the immigration officers. For example, if you claim significant benefit, they may say your small business in the big Toronto, metropolitan Toronto area is not significant benefit. Maybe that's why you got rejected. And on the flip side, it depends on the business, the significance that you create with your business. I would say in rural areas, in provincial entrepreneur programs, it's easier to impress and get approved for when you go to rural Alberta or rural Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Manitoba, or British Columbia. There, they are desperate for business. In Toronto, you have a lot of competition, not only on the business ground, but also on the immigration ground. There are too many people applying to do business in Toronto and Ontario. But in Ontario, if you go with the province, there are places where you can impress your immigration officer who's reviewing and successfully defend the significance of your business or the benefits that your business can bring. Also, I'm not here to speculate, but I need to know more about why you were refused in terms of what application did you submit, and what was the rationale of refusing your application on the work permit. Give me more details, Mah, and we will try to delve into that. As I said, we take as much time as necessary today. It's your day, your questions, and my answers. Next, let's bring next question. which we got preliminary questions from our audience already. Okay, and another question is, as a business owner, can my experience of running my own company count as senior management experience for Express Entry? Unfortunately not. At the moment, it's not, but don't quote me, but it might be changing soon. Why? Let me share why. So if you go to our website and go to the news and publications, we published two pieces recently. It's about our opinion on Express Entry 2026, what may change, and also what's the government is open for public consultations until September 3rd about what to do with leadership applications under Express Entry. They might be, it's not certain yet, there might be a new category in Express Entry 2026 for those who operate under NOC 00 positions, okay? If that works, that would be great to have a dedicated leadership senior management draws under Express Entry, which assumes either the points are lower, maybe lower, or they may add additional CRS score for verified NOC 00 experience. In that case, if they don't distinguish self-own, owner operator type of things, it could be, and I'm waiting without any patience for these changes. Please read these piece number 1 and piece number 2 is the executives are left behind in startup visa program. The executives are left behind. Why? Usually, in our opinion, you will read in more detail, but usually when you are in the executive level, your age disadvantage is significant. You may lose up to 120 points just because you are older than the rest of the candidates under Express Entry. So executive level, more experienced people are valuable to Canadian economy, but we don't recognize their value. Instead, we disadvantage them by punishing for being old in the category, right? In those age category. That's why I think they should focus on leadership in the Express Entry, and I hope they will come up with an innovative solution for this. Otherwise, we are penalizing people who are over 35 or in their 40s or 50s. We are basically saying you cannot immigrate under Express Entry for those who are executive level, and they bring a lot of value and insights to the business. They could be the mentors of future entrepreneurs. Now the ideas we have shared here, and we have also another video. So this video is this about changes. Please go and see that video on your own. I think there is a way, but not as we speak today on August 27th. Okay, it's not at the moment the case for those who are running their own business. Their experience is not, unfortunately, recognized. This is sad, but I think government is thinking in the right direction, and they will change Express Entry hopefully soon, where we can see some kind of recognition of executive level experience on any level, whether it's a self-employed or employed somewhere, and your age is not your disadvantage anymore. I hope that would be the case. All right, next question that we received in advance. Thank you for those who are sending us their questions in advance, because they cannot attend, and also we gather questions that we think are important. At the moment, there are many changes in immigration, and we devise those questions. For example, this one, we created that question because we see during our consultations that people are worried or they are curious about an answer to this question. Let's tackle that one. Okay, from an immigration and business success perspective, is it smarter to apply for the startup visa as a solo founder or is it more advantageous to apply as a part of a team? Wow, that's a very loaded question. Let me sip a little bit of my water. Okay, it's a long question. Now, the question is whether should I apply under startup visa as a solo or as a part of the team. Now, I hate to tell you, the lawyer's answer is it depends. If you are a solo and you can manage to run your business, your startup business successfully under startup visa, yes, you may be interesting to angel investors, incubators, or VC firms. But usually, one person cannot be doing everything in a startup. That's why we mostly see several founders, up to 5 founders under one startup. Well, it's an advantage and disadvantage at the same time. Advantage in the sense that you decide what to do without consulting your founders, because there are no other founders. You are the king of that startup. Disadvantage is you may not be looked as a realistic project for many designated organizations, because they may say, oh, you claim to be scalable, you claim to be innovative, and you are investable project, but you are on your own. What happens if you have an accident and that's it? Everything runs with you and goes away with you. That's why it may not be for serious VC firms. I don't think a solopreneur, solo startup founder is interesting. They want to see a realistic team. There's a saying in startup world, they don't invest in the startup, they invest in a team of founders. So from that perspective, it can be disadvantage, unfortunately. So if, as you know, on the startup visa program, you can team up with up to 5 partners, 5 founders, and you can designate certain functions like sales, technology, or marketing, or CEO among those founders, and it will be more solid team in a way. Okay, have we done solo SUV programs, applications? Yes, we've done, but very few in our experience. Okay, so far we are halfway through, and what else I wanted to share with you? I will be waiting for some additional questions. If you have some questions, let me know. Today we are taking as much time as necessary. In the meantime, let me share some other interesting things. On LinkedIn, I mentioned quickly, I started to run Canadian Immigration Diary, a weekly diary for those who are interested in what's going on in immigration. We've published 3 editions already, and hopefully this is very interesting. TOEFL essential test may be coming as a new English test to be approved for PR applicants. We don't know yet when, but government is talking about it. It hasn't implemented yet, so it could be another option in terms of test, in addition to IELTS, CELPIP, PTE test, Pearson test. It could be test number 4 for those who are doing the English language tests for immigration. We'll keep you posted. This is very interesting. So this is how I give the inside of my the diary, weekly diary. Please subscribe to this newsletter on LinkedIn. It's my personal blog basically, and we already have 1,700 people, and they are updated on their feed when you subscribe. So it's very interesting. We give pro tips and the news piece, and every news piece comes with a pro tip and insight from our lawyers. Okay, and also we go into cases decided by Federal Court of Canada. Each case has a little summary and little pro insight from our lawyers. Okay, now let me see if we have any other questions. Thank you for your active participation with your questions. I think that's it for today. Half an hour, quick and very, very fast. This is the format we go with. Every month we have this kind of AMA sessions. If you are interested, leave your questions. Even if you don't watch it live, leave your questions in the comment section, and all the links that I mentioned to ebooks, to downloading free ebooks too, we leave it in the description section of this video. There's one question I can see. Okay, Samin is asking, what is the C11 recently? Still is working on all or all refused? Still working. Now the logic has changed, of course, as you know, Samin. It's not a PR leading program, right? It's C11 is not for PR. The C11, we are getting our success stories. If you go to our website, go to resources and success stories, you can see we successfully extended work permit. We also approved C11 regardless of IRCC policy overhaul. Read these success stories and you will see that we are still getting C11. But now the scrutiny is high. The scrutiny, the way you need to prepare your application is different. And it's not per se a PR program anymore. It's for temporary purpose and it's for 18 months, although we just got for our American clients a 2-year work permit recently. They entered through the port of entry at the airport, and we are very happy. We will be, hopefully, with their permission, we will be publishing their success stories soon. Yes, C11 is tough, but we are still getting positive answers from our applicants for our clients. All right. There's my assistant is mentioning that there is a downloadable ebook there at that link, and we will put that link on the in the description section after this live session. Okay, here's a question from Elva. Hi Elva, will BC PNP base category score going to drop? I think it is quite low, isn't it? It's still quite low. We haven't been doing BC PNP entrepreneur recently. Let me double check here. If you go to our website under BC PNP, here's a provincial nominee program for entrepreneurs. I think the score is still manageable, but I have no idea. If I don't know, I will say I don't know. Maybe because there are not many people who are applying under entrepreneur program of the BC, of British Columbia, the province of British Columbia. But you can read all the detail, the guidelines under business immigration, and here, those sections that are bolded in bold text, we have free guidelines. We have free guidelines on BC, we have free guide on Alberta and Manitoba, and then we have in New Brunswick and also Nova Scotia. The others are coming. Other guides are coming very soon. Elva, I think I don't know the answer to that questions, but what I can promise to you, let me look into the BC PNP base category entrepreneur and get back to you. If you leave your comment, maybe I'll get back to you on LinkedIn with my thoughts, but initially I think the score will be maintained, and we are almost in the last quarter of 2025. The year of 2025 will end, and the BC PNP or any PNP for entrepreneur, the only thing I can tell is they are unpredictable in the sense they are not systematically drawing candidates for entrepreneur program, and I think you are talking about entrepreneur program, base category entrepreneur. I will get back to you with my detailed answer as I promised. Okay, now another question from LinkedIn. Thank you for your question. Another question from LinkedIn. If I don't have a high CRS score, can the 2026 leadership stream give me a realistic shot? I think it will. But again, let's wait what that leadership category or leadership score how it will look like in 2026. The consultation will be over this year. So until September 3rd, government is gathering all the public consultation notes and feedback from the population. Let's see how it will look like in 2026. But I think if they add leadership stream or leadership category, or they add additional point for executive level managers, then you will probably have a good shot if you are in the knock 00 category of work. Okay? Now, I think we've covered all the questions today. I think it's been very busy, and thank you for sending us your questions. You can contact us anytime. Let me share those contacts. You can contact us anytime. Here are our coordinates. Here we go, and you can book your consultation right away under contact page here. You can call us. You can send us your questions to wecare@sobirovs.com, and we will be happy to respond. We collect all those questions and tackle them in these kind of live sessions in the future. Okay? Well, don't forget to subscribe, and we hope to stay up. You will stay updated on latest developments in immigration. Thank you very much for your active participation. See you next time. Thank you again.